So here we go. We doing another one, just getting straight into it. Last time I did an album review, it was Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace. And after that, I think I spoke about doing the Blue and Evidence Los Angeles album review, which I'm still gonna do, but I'm gonna do that some other time. I'm gonna knock this out first because this came out last year. This is, as you can tell by the title, Soul Assassins 3 Death Valley, DJ Muggs, and various artists. So this is what the album cover looks like right here. This shit right here is a classic. I'm bumping it ever since it came out. It came out, I believe, in possibly August. I think it said August something. We'll pull it up in a sec. But yeah, so to the right we have the track listings for the album, but to the left I have my playlist pulled up. Anybody who has Spotify, go find this playlist. I updated it, and I put a lot of the I put songs from a lot of the albums I'm gonna be reviewing. So yeah, hop on that if you have access to it. To be honest, if you already have Spotify, fuck Rap Caviar, straight up. So to the right we got We Riding We Ain't Hiding by DJ Muggs and TF. This song came out last year, June 9th, 2023. The reason I want to pull this song up first is because I really enjoyed this song. I thought this song was going to be on the album, but when it came out, it wasn't. They have a different collaboration on there, but I still don't want to count this track out. This one has one of the nicest beats. So I usually bump this track and then start the album. So yeah, if you have access to this, throw this on. And we are going to pull up the album. So I can't play none of the music, even though you see it playing right there. I can't have the audio run because I noticed that shit be making it so YouTube don't want to help your boy out. So I'm just gonna give you my point of view on it. I've been bumping this album ever since it came out. I really like it. We're just gonna go track for track. So The Time Is Gum is basically an intro, as you would expect. It's on some DJ shit. DJ Muggs is really creative. He's basically painting a picture. And the thing is, this intro is probably gonna have more significance to it towards the end of the video. Second track is It's On with Boldy James. I really like this. This is a good opening track. This is like basically the first chapter of a book. It sets a nice pace. The sample's not too heavy and crazy, not too dark, not too this, not too that. It's like a nice opening track. Boldy James has a really calm, laid back, relaxed style. The first time I heard him, I'm so glad that I didn't know what he looked like, because I always envisioned just a really laid back West Coast nigga for some reason, even though I knew he's from Detroit the first time I listened to him. But yeah, he's really good at what he does, and he makes more appearances on this album. So track number 3, that's the first track I bump sometimes. Check In. It features Sponto, R.I.P. He is one of the originators of I'm drawing a blank right now on the name of his clothing company, but he Born and Raised. He's one of the originators of Born and Raised, R.I.P. And I'm really glad that DJ Muggs was able to get him in on a track. He is, I believe, a Venice native. We lost him not that long ago in, I believe, a car accident out of state, I think. Really tragic, sad story. I never got the opportunity to meet him, but I'm really glad that he's really close to a lot of people in hip hop. Whenever that company has events, a lot of hip hop people in the underground, I guess you could say, happen to show up, and everybody's good with Born and Raised. Born and Raised has a big impact on LA in general. So I'm glad that DJ Muggs got him in on a track. Sicilian Gold is the fourth track. So that one on the Google, it's not showing all the people that are on it, but oh yeah, and let me go back check in. So I can't even remember if I said it, but check in also has Jay Worthy. Jay Worthy is the main artist on the song. Smonto just makes like a feature at the beginning and at the end, but that's a solid Jay Worthy track. And we're actually about to review a Jay Worthy album hopefully next week. He has a really nice album that's out right now that happens to be on that playlist I was showing at the beginning. Some of the songs are on it, and some other songs that he features on other albums are on it. But Jay Worthy's been busy, is what I'm trying to say. So Sicilian Gold, track number 4. So this one is Ghostface Killah and Westside Gunn. But the beat is the beat's a little bit different too, and that's the thing. Like I really like this album because DJ Muggs displays all of his styles. He displays all of his styles, and I probably not even all of his styles, but he displays a lot of different styles. So 67 Keys, Rock Marciano, Mayhem Lauren, and Rome Streets. I like that beat a lot too. That beat, it kind of reminds me of being at the pier, at the Venice, at the Santa Monica pier. It kind of reminds me of being at the Santa Monica pier for some reason. It's like a really chill beat, but the artists that they got on it are like some full on like pimps and drug dealers and shit. Like it's ill. I like it. Track number 6 is Mr. Cartoon Interlude. Mr. Cartoon is another heavy figure in hip hop. He's tattooed all the fucking legends. He's tattooed Exhibit, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I think he might have tattooed Ice Cube. He's tattooed Eminem. I think he tattooed members of D12. I might be wrong about that part, but he's tattooed a lot of hip hop artists. He's designed shoes. He details cars. He spray paints cars. He paints cars. Does album covers. Like he's a really big figure in hip hop. He's way bigger than a tattoo artist. Like he's outside of that category. Track number 7, Joker's Wild. DJ Muggs producing a track for CeeLo, and this CeeLo track is different. I'm not even gonna say nothing about it, but the title is dope. The track itself, it has a whole vibe that doesn't compromise itself in any way. It's just a very specific vibe and tale, and you could kind of see this being in a movie pretty much. Shell Casings, track number 8. This is the collaboration between TF and DJ Muggs for the album. This beat itself is it's good. Like it's really interesting. I don't know what, like every time I hear it, I don't know what the fuck it is, but I do hear shells dropping. I like that shit. I like them little shells dropping. Yeah, this beat, it's like really, or the track itself is really it's really what it is. It's basically a vibe, and they follow through with it 100%. This is one of my favorite tracks on the album. The first time I heard it, I was just like, why did he give him a beat like this? But it, like, they just, I don't know, both of them are so versatile in what they do. Street Made, I think this is my favorite track. Scarface and Freddie Gibbs, whenever they collaborate, is good, but like this one with Muggs on the beat, this is different though. But I like a lot of the shit that Freddie Gibbs says on this track, and especially since this had been the I think maybe the most recent verse since his album had dropped at the time. I really like that track. Where We At, another track with Boldy James. I really like this one too. This one's not that long, it's short, but it's a good track. It's yeah, I like the beat. It's like, It kind of reminds me of like Drumline, like when they've got the drum and they're doing all them tricks and shit. It kind of reminds me of that just a little bit. He and that's not to reflect on the beat. He's not doing all that drumline shit. I'm just saying it just kind of reminds me of that. Um, we ain't playing. Devin the Dude, TF and Jay Worthy, and damn, there's so many people on this. Devin the Dude's on this. TF, Jay Worthy, and 211. So 211 is another artist I really like. That's a little bit more like not that many people are caught up with him. But 211 owns a clothing store kind of near where I be at. And I had always known him as the guy who's in the clothing store videos, because whenever he does the promos on Instagram, they're always solid, updating people on what new shipments and drops they got. I had no idea that he was possibly one of the best MCs in the entire fucking state. I just found that shit out one day when they was promoting a song for for Scandalous 3. I was like, who's I was like, damn, like, dude from the store can rap. Holy shit. Who's this dude that's rapping with him? And that's how I found out about TF. I had to look him up. I was like, yo, these two is crazy. But it's just crazy that I had no idea that 211 was rapping. I always known him as the dude who's hustling. Like, just putting in my area's fashion, basically in a way impacting my area's fashion, like, which is dope. It's dope that this dude is a really good MC and he's also able to run a business and like be on it like every day. Like that's something to look up to. Burn the Playbook, track number 12. Wait, let me go back to number 11. So we ain't playing. It features Devin the Dude. Devin the Dude does a really nice hook on this track, and this beat also is really, really interesting. It's like a really different kind of beat. I don't even know where the sounds came from. So Burn the Playbook is DJ Muggs, Evidence, and Domo Genesis. Yeah, this track is really interesting. I hadn't heard Evidence rap in a really long time leading up to this song. I could definitely hear his voice that he's gotten a little bit older, but at the same time, like, he's still on it. Like, you know, it's Evidence. Like it's dope. Like, it's dope because whenever I would hear him, I never realized how young he was. But now that I'm older and he's older, like, now I'm able to tell, like, oh, okay, like, he's older on the mic because of the way his voice sounds. But at the same time, like, he's still Evidence. Like, he's still just as sharp as he ever was, probably even sharper. Still has rhyme and cadence. Like, this dude just recently produced one of the best albums I've heard in a cool minute. We're gonna review that later, but it's also interesting to hear him get on the mic and drop a verse as if he has time for that. But he's doing it like he be just going at it. Magic. That one's real short. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that one off. Crazy Horse, Rock Marciano, Crime Apple. I like both of their verses on this, and Crime Apple I don't even know how to describe Crime Apple. He's very, very unique. Like, he's literally one of one. No one else does it the way he does it. But he always has something that I go back to. Like, he reminds me of a poet. I mean, I'm sure that's probably how he started off. He probably started off as a poet, but yeah, like, whenever I hear his stuff, like, I feel like I feel like I'm listening to poetry sometimes, and that's not even a bad thing. I just know that when it comes to hip hop, a lot of people, it seems like they're against poetry, but poetry is one of the roots of this shit. And the way he goes off rhyming, sometimes it reminds me of like slam poetry. Metropolis, Method Man and Slick Rick. That's a really interesting collaboration. This is actually kind of what I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about interesting collabs. This right here is basically two of my favorite artists from different eras. Slick Rick is an artist who did the first hip-hop song I've ever heard in my entire life, and as you can tell, that song, how it's shifted and shaped my entire life. I'm here right now doing album reviews. Method Man, one of the founding members of Wu-Tang Clan, One of the biggest, one of the let's see, one of the biggest essential elements of Def Jam music. One of the essential elements currently in black legal cannabis in America. And one of the hardest video game characters in Def Jam Fight for NY. And he's also gravitated towards being an actor, landing himself roles in such films as Keanu. He's been in The Wire. He was one of the characters on The Wire. Yeah, he's been in a lot more movies. I'm not even gonna get into that, but yeah, these two are well accomplished in hip hop, and it's crazy to see Slick Rick come back after 30 something years and still sound like with that Slick Rick style. Like, it's crazy to hear it and over a dope ass beat on top of that. So another track with Boldy James, We Coming for the Safe. And I really like Boldy James tracks on this album. I think he has 3 in total, but wait, I might be capping. One, yeah. So he has 3 tracks in total, but I like all 3 of them being consistent. Like, all 3 of them are consistent. That's the reason why I don't have a whole bunch to say, because all 3 of his tracks are consistent, and all 3 of the beats that Muggs gave him were different. They were consistent, and then the beats were different. So that's a bar right there. Skeleton Bones, Rome Streetz. Rome Streetz is possibly one of the greatest MCs that I had never heard of until he popped up on that album cover with that big ass ring on his pinky. I was like, this nigga right here must have fucking flame. And when I listened to this shit, I was like, oh yeah, this is one of the best MCs I've ever fucking heard. So yeah, as you can tell, he definitely gets busy on that Skeleton Bones. For this one, I can't remember the beat off the top of my head right now, but I remember them having a dope ass track. Dump on Him is one of the songs I feel was promoted most. This is a song that has Be Real, Ice Cube, and MC Ren. Now, if you remember, Be Real and Ice Cube at one point kind of had, I'm not going to say beef, but they had a conflict, and eventually it was squashed and figured out, and I'm really, really happy for that. I'm also happy that DJ Muggs, of all people, was able to get Ice Cube and MC Ren together, because I haven't heard that in a minute. And yeah, Dump on Him, the song is dope as fuck. And the thing is that a lot of people don't know is MC Ren, he's been busy as of late. I have one of his most recent songs, one of his more recent songs on that playlist I was talking about. It's called Osiris. Osiris is one of my favorite songs by MC Ren in most recent years. But yeah, they come through on this Dump on Him track, which is basically the last track. So the outro features Estevan and Sponso, but Estevan is also a big figure in just LA culture in general. He's outside hip hop at this point. Like, I mean, he's in hip hop, but his contributions are bigger than hip hop. But he is one of the premier urban, I guess you could say, photographers from the West Coast through maybe 80s possibly, but I know that he's been doing photography all throughout the 90s, 2000s, even currently still. Him and Mr. Cartoon have a movie that's hopefully still on Netflix, but I remember it was a really informative movie. I had known of Mr. Cartoon, but I didn't know Estevan, and whenever they broke both of their contributions down, I was able to see, oh snap, I am familiar with some of his work. But yeah, I'm glad that they got him on the outro too, along with Sponso, R.I.P. It's really interesting because this album, it's always to me gonna be that one album that I look back at like, oh okay, this is the album that had everything in it. Even just outside of hip hop, this album was a milestone in just hip hop culture, especially on the West Coast. I don't know exactly how it is in other regions and other countries, north of here, south of here, but over here, is basically Black and Brown Pride that run this area, and it's really, really interesting to see when there's no beef and all that stuff. is pushed out of the picture, and it's just a big collaboration. And then from there, anything is possible. Anything can get done. So one thing that I did want to add to this album is this. So now we are going to go back into his shit, and we are going to find that one. So I just listened to this the other night. I had known about it, but I didn't know that they had put it up here for me to listen to until the other night. So when I heard this changed this whole album. This changed that whole album because this came out at the same exact time. And I remember I was bumping the album so much. I was like, yeah, I'll bump that Death Valley soundtrack some other time. It's probably just got a whole bunch of recycled tracks on it, a whole bunch of B-sides and all this shit. Nope, I was wrong. This is an interesting album. This is the reason why I have to give this album 5 mics. This, in addition to this album, because this is the motion picture score, and I haven't seen the motion picture. I still want to. I bookmarked his website, and I believe this merch and all that stuff, if you click it, it'll take you to the website. But yeah, the motion picture is available on his website. So one thing that I can say is you have to do yourself a service and listen to this after listening to the album, or on a separate day, however, but you have to listen to it. Yeah, this is a trip. I mean, I'm glad they have a song called The Trip, but this whole thing is a trip. This right here is the instrumental for the song Shell Casings with TF that I was talking about earlier. Except the way it's done is from, let's see, how do I say it? As a producer, as someone who makes beats himself, I really like hearing this because the way DJ Muggs broke it down, it is like a score. It makes me feel like I'm at Disneyland or some shit, just riding in some water alongside a path where I'm just seeing the workshop and how all this stuff is crafted and thought out and planned. I don't know if he had already laid down that track after making this motion picture and happened to give the session to TF to rap on, or if he already had the beat and then just took the session and spread it out. But this stuff is not the same. Like it's different. Like the few songs that do feature little pieces of these songs, like, and I say little pieces because it's not the same recycled shit. It's gonna be different. but at the same time, like, most of this album isn't stuff that's on here. It's just like some different shit. Like this song Hashashins, that shit bumps. But I know that there's a song, and I believe it's this one, CVS Crew, which is basically a fucking banging ass trap beat. Like, yeah, DJ Muggs is on some other shit. That's all I'm gonna say. He's on some other shit. Oh, that makes sense. February 9th. So this didn't come out at the same time as the album. That's why I didn't hear it at the same time. But straight up, because of that, because of this second one, I have to give this album 5 mics, because these two albums sandwiched together, it's like a banging ass, dope ass studio session double disc. Like, just straight up. And I don't know what this motion picture, I don't know what the fuck I'm listening to, bruh. I don't know if these are samples or if he played all this shit. I have no idea. It's an original motion picture, so I don't know, nigga. That's all I'm gonna say. I really don't know. But all I know is that if you have access to this, you need to get on this shit. And the reason is, like, I'm letting people know, like, a lot of people want to complain about hip-hop is dead and hip-hop ain't this and hip-hop ain't that. It's just changing. There ain't enough Latin representation, this and that. Yo, it's all right here. We have all that shit right here. It's all right here. That's all you got to do. So if you enjoyed this video, Smash the like button, subscribe, let your friends know. We trying to reach 50. When I reach 50, you're going to catch me spray painting and DJing. I'm just letting you know straight up. You're going to see spray painting and DJing. So that's the goal. We trying to reach 50. Biohazard RX episode 9 coming out real soon. For those that know about the Sonya Massey situation, RIP to her. Very, very tragic situation that should have never ever happened. And I feel like I'm constantly speaking about the same shit over and over. But we're not gonna get into that here. I'm just gonna let y'all know that it's on the way and to peep it when it comes out. But smash the like, subscribe, and the next album review is gonna be real soon. It's gonna be real soon, and I'll probably have a haircut. All right, y'all. Peace out.